Wow. Wow. Thank you, members of the choir, Chris Morrow, Jasmine Lee, and Kevin Miller for pulling that beautiful video together for that powerful, powerful anthem and hymn from Carly Simon. What a gift. What a blessing. Today is Ingathering Sunday. I'm thinking back to Ingathering Sundays in other years, remembering the excitement of and the anticipation and then the gladness of seeing so many members of the community gathering once again in our sanctuary, pouring the waters of our individual lives into the common container that is our beloved spiritual home, Cedar Lane, holding hands and singing, "I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul." Gladness is a good word to describe that feeling of sensing once again the coming together of a community of support and hope and love, which is what Cedar Lane means for so many of us. This year, we cannot gather in person, but support and connection, renewal and resilience remain on the agenda because we need renewal. We all need renewal, a renewal of faith, a renewal of hope, a renewal of connection, a renewal of joy. We need renewal, especially these days when the world feels like a particularly dangerous place, even if most of us are living comfortably in our homes. You know, not to be hyperbolic, but on top of the political turmoil and turbulence of a presidential election, the worst pandemic in modern times that has claimed to date over 197,000 lives, the economic collapse with millions of unemployed facing evictions and food insecurity and poverty, the centuries-old pandemic of systemic racism that continues to target, mistreat, maim, and murder Black and brown bodies, hurricanes and floods devastating the southern and eastern parts of the US and significant parts of the western US now on fire due to human-caused climate change, with hundreds of thousands fleeing under deep orange sunless skies, layers of ash covering the streets, gardens, and cars, and the acrid smell of burning forests, lives, homes, and dreams, it does seem more than a little apocalyptic. Now, one can only hope this is not our final descent. We know we must learn to live in this place and in this time. We hope our hearts are large enough for the challenge, but we struggle to keep despair at bay. Still, these are the very times, as the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray said, that we most need to be together, to center ourselves, to breathe, to remind ourselves of the difference between that which is transient and that which is enduring in life. In these troubled and troubling times, we especially need one another. We need especially a religious community, this religious community, and we especially need to find a way to minister to each other in this dislocated world. We need an ingathering to renew our spirits. But how do we celebrate renewal in a time like this? Spirit of Life was one of the first UU hymns I learned by heart more than 25 years ago. Carolyn McDade, who wrote the hymn, tells the story of where it came from. I'd heard from my mentor, the Reverend Barbara Peskin, that Carolyn McDade was really unhappy with the way that the hymn is often sung in services as a weekly affirmation, that it isn't about celebration, it isn't about triumph. And if you listen to the words, you can hear that. It's a need, a longing, a yearning. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Now, when Carolyn McDade was asked to tell the story, here's what she shared with the UU World magazine writer Kimberly French. In the early 1980s, when the US government was supporting oppressive regimes in Central America, and they still do, McDade was coming home from a meeting, as she had done so many times as a lifelong activist. What McDade remembers most clearly was the feeling she had when she got to her friend's house. She said, "When I got to Pat's house, I told her, I feel like a piece of dried cardboard that has lain in the attic for years. Just open wide the door and I will be dust." I was tired, she continues, not with my community, but with the world. Pat just sat with me, and I loved her for sitting with me. McDade then drove to our own home in Newtonville. I walked through my house in the dark, found my piano, and that was my prayer. May I not drop out. It was not written, but prayed. I knew more than anything that I wanted to continue in faith with the movement. Spirit of life, come unto me. I'm sure, Pat and Sandy, you can relate to that. And your music comes from those deep places and nourishes and supports our souls. So, Spirit of life, it's a prayer, a longing. It comes out of that place of feeling like a piece of dried cardboard, of feeling tired, empty, spent, that we cannot carry the load by ourselves any longer. We yearn for renewal. We yearn because sometimes we feel like a piece of cardboard, a piece of dried cardboard. And lately, I've been there, dried cardboard, ready to crumble and be blown away. And we're all having our dried cardboard moments these days, aren't we? Feeling stretched, exhausted from all the effort and exertion that has gone into functioning in this mode now for 6 months with no end in sight, trying to be there and present to our children as they figure out remote learning and being in school with their friends and their teachers away from each other, heartsick from all the injustice and inequity in the world and feeling helpless about how to fix it, feeling weary and worn down and wondering, how on earth can we possibly withstand more of this? You know, what started out as a sprint in March has now become a marathon that requires a different kind of capacity. My colleague, the Reverend Paige Getty, recently shared an article by science journalist Tara Haley, in which she shares advice from experts on how to enhance our capacity for coping and survival as these dire circumstances continue. These experts advise 7 specific things. Here they are. Number 1, accept that life is different right now. Number 2, expect less from yourself. 3, recognize the different aspects of grief that you're carrying: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, and the fact that they don't all happen linearly. Number 4, experiment with both and thinking instead of either or thinking. Number 5, Look for activities, new and old, that continue to fulfill and renew you. Number 6, focus on maintaining and strengthening important relationships. And they say the biggest protective factors for facing adversity and building resilience are social support and remaining connected to people, which includes helping others even when we are feeling depleted ourselves. End of quote. And number 7, begin slowly building your resilience bank account with regular practices that promote resilience and provide a fallback when life gets tough. So, friends, I invite you to join me in practicing these 7 things together in this new congregational year. We need to experience life's gifts and possibilities once more. Renewing contact with what is most precious in life is really a spiritual practice. It is an essential practice. And if we do not feed and nurture our spirits, they will wither and blow away like dried cardboard. Even the good deeds we strive to do will become acts of anger and joyless obligation rather than efforts to share and to heal. I know some of the things I need to do to set the stage. I need to take Sabbath time. I mean, I really need to take Sabbath time. And it's really important to have that quiet time because in the midst of a pandemic, when time is running down and standing still at the same time, I need to close down my laptop, put away my phone, turn off the TV and lie on the couch and let the Sabbath time renew me. I need to get out more into nature and let water, sky, and earth renew me for the journey. I need to sing, even if off key. And I need to pray to express my yearning in the language of poetry and metaphor. I need to tend to my mind, my body, and spirit as if my life depended on it, because it does. I came across an interview recently with Patrisse Cullors, one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. In that interview, she said that her work moves out of a place that asks, what does it take for humans to live in our full humanity and allow for others to live in their full dignity? She said, I don't believe spirit is this thing that lives outside of us, dictating our lives, but rather our ability to be deeply connected to something that is bigger than us. I think that is what makes our work powerful. She continues, people's resilience, I think, is tied to their will to live, our will to survive, which is deeply spiritual. The fight to save your life is a spiritual fight, she said. And then she said that it is easy in justice work to be so focused on the cause that you can burn out. So she says you need to take care of yourself first if you're ultimately going to advance your cause. My being alive is actually a part of the work, she explains. Even rudimentary things like eating healthy and exercising are essentially taken from us, Black folks in particular. To reclaim and renew our bodies and our health is a form of resistance, a form of resilience. End of quote. Poet and activist Audre Lorde said the same thing. Caring for myself is not an act of self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. So what I need to do, what we need to do, is find ways to breathe life into the world we want here and now by acting consciously so that our wellness does not come at the expense of others. And to do that again and again with and among each other together. So, as I bring this reflection in for a landing, I really need you to bear with me for a few more minutes as I return once again to the beloved community. I suggest that over the next few weeks and months, as we tend to our ongoing health and well being, that we also renew our hopes and aspirations and practice of being a beloved community within, among, and beyond with our families, our friends, and with neighbors and strangers. The Irish poet John O'Donohue says he can't believe in any of this stuff about creating community. I think community is. It is ontologically there. The project is more about awakening. So for O'Donohue, community is something that is remembered or revealed or awakening or renewed in us because we are already, he says, dangerously involved with each other in an incredibly intimate but unseen way. And that's what it means to be human. Community just is. We are each connected to every other thing. Community, for John O'Donohue, is about love awakening in our lives. In the night of your heart, it is like the dawn breaking within you, where before there was anonymity, now there is intimacy. Where before there was fear, now there is courage. Occasions like ingathering and the water ceremony are invitations for us to remember and feel our connection to one another and all that is. So this is a time not to fear nightmares, but to dream dreams. Hope, love, joy, peace are ours if we but awaken to them, if we remember. So will you pray with me again? Spirit of life, come unto us. Help us each remember that we are inherently born into beloved community. Sing in our hearts all the stirrings of compassion. So we take quiet time to listen to our hearts, to breathe and to rest amid the great turning. Move in the hand, rise in the sea. Help us open our hearts to all that is holy everywhere, every now. Open ourselves to life, even in our sorrow and in our grief, our fear and our pain, for this too shall pass, giving life the shape of justice. So today and every day we boldly side with love. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. So today and every day we feel the renewal that can be reborn in us. And like the paramecium, exchange and share it with each other and with this world, which needs more than ever to be renewed as well. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Amen. Blessed be.